What up, cocksuckers? It's the 53rd episode, July 24th, now the 25th, 2013. Thanks a lot for listening in. We got myself, Ramses, Ross, Yao, and Chris for tonight's MMA podcast. Very pumped for that. We got a lot to talk about. A whole shitload of fight announcements being made. We got 17 more cards for the rest of the year, and it's August in a couple of days. I'm really pumped about that. We also got this weekend UFC on Fox 8. Card surprisingly no one's really talking about. We got the flyweight championship, Mighty Mouse and John Moraga. We also got a welterweight scrap between elite welterweights Rory McDonald and Jake Ellenberger. We got the stat of the day. We got fight tips. We got Yao's training log. Ross has got a new segment. Let's do this shit, cocksuckers!
We did it, mama. We did it. We did it for the love of the game. We did it, mama. I did it for. Yeah, mama. We did it. The game will never be the same. We did it, mama. I did it for.
You're listening to the MMA Podcast.
That's right, it's the MMA Podcast. We are coming here. It's a late night Wednesday night, July 25th in some parts of the country, July 24th in some parts of the country. If you do want to call in and be a part of the show, we do want you to do that. You can call in. The number is 213-457-3380, 213-457-3380. You can Skype us, which would save me a little bit of coin, and that's the MMA Podcast. Or you can just tweet us at the MMA Podcast, and we'll read your tweet on air, themmapodcast.com as well. Visit over there. We got 4 other gentlemen on the show tonight, and as I do every week, I'll first pass it off to the guru, the word on the street, Ramses in Austin, whatever you want to call him, the Aunt Jimmy Show. What the fuck is going on, cocksucker?
Last night, me and Jake from the MMA Podcast, we interviewed not only tough champion Kelvin Gastelum, but Uriah Hall. At the same time, they were eating sushi, and it sounded like it was at a strip club. Follow me on Twitter, The Aunt Jimmy Show, to get that interview and the next ones that are coming. You sons of bitches, just do it. Word on the street.
Word on the goddamn street. We also got a friend of ours who was a part of Grappler's Quest, the national championships last weekend. He will be talking about that a little later. Hailing from Queens, New York. They call him Chocolate Thunder. It's Yao the Truth. What's going on, man?
What's up, guys? Happy to be on, as always. Yep, follow me on Twitter at Yao_the truth. That's Yao like Yao Ming _the truth.
YAO_the truth, cocksuckers. We also got our boy Ross Finkelstein. He makes a better UFC promo poster than maybe anyone on the planet, and I'm not just saying that. He's constantly making better shit than the UFC, constantly pumping him out there. He is going to make the UFC 200 poster. He will be signed up by Zuffa at that point. He's still a young gun. Ross, what the fuck's going on?
What's up, guys? You can get me on Twitter at Ross Finkelstein. E before the L, all Jewishly. I've said this shtick a billion times. You know what's up.
You know what's up. And we got our boy, the OG of the show, Chris Lowe. What's going on, man?
Oh, man. Thank you for that. It feels so good to be back, you guys. I feel like it's Christmas time. I finally returned with my long-lost family. We're all sitting around a nice tree, sharing some hot cocoa, maybe getting a little bit drunk. Whatever. Anyways, I'm looking forward to it. Are you guys looking forward to it? Let's do this.
I'm looking forward to it. You know, as it usually is with family meetings and holidays, there's a lot of sexual tension on this call.
We're going to fight, too.
We're going to fight. We're going to fuck. It's going to be crazy tonight, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, let's get to it. You know, we definitely do have a Team Darkside slant. You know, we've had on tons of Team Darkside members, and if you're not sure who I'm talking about Team Sonnen from Tough. And one of those men who unfortunately is no longer in the UFC, Jimmy Quinlan, he might not be in the UFC, but he's out saving lives. Apparently, he got all bloodied up punching out a window, pulling someone out of an overturned car, doing some heroic shit. We also, if you've been following along with the news, the George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin case, Zimmerman found not guilty and released. Apparently, he saved someone not nearly as heroically as Jimmy did, but apparently he pulled a dude out of a car or something. But this is my question. I want to ask, who was braver there? Because Jimmy, obviously, if George Zimmerman was just some random dude, Jimmy's the more brave guy. But who was braver? Jimmy for getting bloody, saving somebody, or George Zimmerman for just showing up in public? I asked the question last night on the Word on the Street, said it would be a preview, and I would ask it again tonight. But yeah, who was braver of the two? Ramses?
Yeah, man, this one's pretty easy. I am a little biased, of course, for Team Darkside, Team Sun, and Jimmy Quinlan. But yeah, definitely he was the bravest. I mean, he punched that car in the fucking face. He punched that glass out, man. He didn't give a fuck, dude. He even had gloves in his car. Did he put them on? No way. He is a cop himself. So yeah, he did what was right. And let's face it, if you've been driving down the freeway and your car overturns and, you're all fucked up or whatever, and then you're upside down, you see someone running towards you, one of them's either going to be Jimmy Quinlan, you're going to be like, hey man, that's that guy from Team Sun. Or it's going to be George Zimmerman, and you're going to be like, oh man, George Zimmerman is waddling towards me with a fire extinguisher. The smoke might have blackened the color of your skin by then. You know what's going down. No, Jimmy Quinlan all the way. He is a true hero. This ain't the first time he saved people's lives. He's a goddamn police officer. Shout out to Jimmy Quinlan. That's all I gotta say.
What do you think, Yao?
Yeah, I gotta agree with Ramses. I mean, the way Jimmy did it, he didn't have to, punch the glass with his bare hands. He could have gone and tried to find something else to maybe break the glass in, but he decided to use his hands, and that's very courageous, and I gotta go with Jimmy.
Yeah, I'm here. This is it's a tough decision because Jimmy Quinlan obviously did something not, I would say maybe about 20% of the population would do. To punch through glass is such an extreme thing because you're going to fuck up your hand no matter what. You're going to bleed. It's going to hurt. But he still did it. At the same time, George Zimmerman's a wanted man. There's a target on his back. There's about a couple billion people. Well, there's about 1 billion people who want to kill him. So it's tough to say. The other aspect of it is,
I guess it's kind of two different kinds of bravery. It's a stupid bravery and a courageous bravery.
Yeah, and the other aspect of it is George Zimmerman's story 100% truthful, because, I mean, it does seem a little shady that the guy is in hiding and then all of a sudden he just happens to come out of hiding for one little moment to save someone and then immediately goes back into hiding. Where is he hiding? In a drone somewhere? It's tough to say. I'm going to have to go with Jimmy Quinlan because I just can't fully believe the George Zimmerman story. So props to Jimmy Quinlan for what he did. He's a hero.
He is a goddamn hero.
True American
goddamn hero. That man right there saved somebody by punching through glass like he was the Man of Steel, man. He is a brave man. Like Ross brought up, he was very generous with 20% of the population. I'd put it at about 1%. I think most people would just stare and go, oh, it'd be over. But Jimmy obviously had some kind of fire lit under his ass, and he went in there, and he did a very brave thing. Good for him. Many props. And as far as George Zimmerman, is that brave being in public after what he did? No, he's putting his ass on the line. And what Jimmy did was he put his ass on the line and saved somebody. So I'm all for Jimmy Quinlan, man. Much respect to that man.
For sure, yeah. Quinlan also, in my opinion, is the more courageous guy. I just sort of thought that was funny because it's brave, but yeah, Quinlan is a real kind of bravery. Zimmerman is just a retarded kind of brave. He's still in Sanford, really. If I was him, I would have grown a mustache, like Ramsey said, taken on a new identity of Carlos Danger, and lived life in Nevada or something. Shit.
Hell yeah.
All right, sticking to Team Dark Side. Apparently, LeBron James and Chael Sonnen have squashed their beef. Chael said he's no longer mad at LeBron, and that LeBron did what he had to do. What do you think happened? Yeah, you think Braun called up Chael and said he was sorry? You think he may have brushed shoulders with him and Chael threatened him? What went down to make Sonnen all of a sudden go from saying LeBron's this horrible guy to saying, oh no, he's nice and we resolved our issues? You still with us, Yao?
Yeah, I'm here. I don't know. It could be anything, coming from Chael like that. It could be anything, or it could even be nothing. He could just be saying this. I don't know. I do want to find out what it was. Hopefully they'll put out like a statement or something about what happened, but I'm clueless.
Ross?
Chael and LeBron squashing the beef. According to Chael, LeBron went up to him and he made it right. Chael wasn't ever really going to actually do anything to him. Chael's not an idiot. He's not going to go up to LeBron James and just start a fight with him. He's not going to punch him in the face. He doesn't need to go to jail. I don't like LeBron. LeBron's a dick. LeBron will always be a dick. Whatever he said to Chael, that's between them. Whatever.
Whatever's the perfect answer he could have come up with, man. I do not give two shits about this. This is a manufactured event. Chael Sonnen doesn't have anything against LeBron James. He created a situation, where they could both get some publicity, and we're talking about it right now. Bravo, Chael. LeBron, you stupid idiot. I don't know anything about you. I don't care about this at all.
Yeah, LeBron realized he fucked up immediately, man. Just Chael's on a different level, man. He's a fighter. All this guy does is play around with the ball all day, complain about shit. You know what I'm saying? Chael, man, he's out there. He's doing the work. Look, I have it on good authority that let's just say LeBron was given a choice between being a millionaire, successful, role model, basketball player, whatever the hell he is, or the wheelchair. All right, it came down to that, man. It was close, dude. It was close. The fist was loaded. It was clenched, all right? But it didn't go down. LeBron made the right choice. He made it right, He paid respect. Chael Sonnen, he's no longer the American gangster. He's the American godfather. That's the word on the street.
Yeah, I heard he may have put a car bomb in LeBron James' wife's car or had sex with LeBron James' wife. I'm not sure. Definitely was one of the two, though. Speaking of Sonnen, he will be on TRT against Shogun. He has gotten an exemption, a therapeutic use exemption to undergo testosterone replacement therapy. He got the TUE for the TRT. Now he's ready to go at UFC Fight Night. What is it, 26th? Fight Night 26, August 17th in Boston. We're going to talk more and more about TRT as the time goes on, and like I said, either in 10 years it's going to be completely banned or everyone's going to be on it, and it could be either one. It'll be interesting to see the long-term health effects, but simply put, should Chael and other guys be allowed to undergo these TRT, TUE exemptions, or what the fuck's going on, Ross?
I'm sorry, I missed the topic. I actually ran out of the room for a second. What was that?
That's so not true.
The topic was...
I did, actually.
Well, first and foremost, why did you run out of the room? We gotta know.
To turn the light off.
Oh, nice. Seems like a random reason to bolt out of a room is like...
Well, as Chris would know, I have a light that's outside the room instead of inside the room. It's very fucked up.
I have a bathroom like that, and I had a bathroom. Whenever my friends were using it, I just turn it off on them.
I'm afraid of the dark, Ross, so I wouldn't know about that.
Have you ever held someone's hand while taking a poop? It's very therapeutic. But no, we were talking about Chael being on TRT. Should Chael and other people be allowed to I don't know if juice is a fair word to use, But should they be allowed to take TRT? You like that little burp I had in there? That was sexy.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it juicing. I mean, in the case of Vitor Belfort, it's pretty clear what it is. But, I have no problems with the TRT if it's needed. And it's not like Chael's going crazy and bulking up and spinning, kicking people in the head and knocking people out crazily. So, I have no problem with it. I mean, it's a little weird that Hendo just all of a sudden went off of it and you really didn't see any difference. But Chael needs it, so whatever.
Well, we've been here, I want to say at least 20 times, Jake, during our podcast run. And you know me, I don't really care what you put in your body. But if we're going to, if we're talking about the should you be allowed to, let's be real here. You get an exemption, yes, but that means you can use a certain amount during training and then you taper off. A lot of guys could probably use a little bit more, and then if they're good at cycling, they can get off. Like Belfort, guys like Dan Henderson, they're obviously not juicing to the max like Belfort and Overeem have. Should they be allowed to? I don't really care. If everyone is allowed to, why not? Take some TRT, even if you don't need it. But you got to kind of see the writing on the wall here is they need to take a stance. Should they allow anything or nothing? And I say you got to be all in or all out, man. Just like poker, you got to put it all in. And man, I'm not good at poker, but that's my stance on it.
Cocksuckers.
Look, man, I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of people bringing this crap up, not giving Chael Sonnen a break. Listen to me, people. Here's the real talk. Here's the goddamn truth. Everybody's on the juice. Everybody. Anybody you've ever seen in the UFC, guess what? They were on the juice, all right? That's the reality. Everybody. I'm willing to say 100% of all the fighters are taking something, all right? 100%. I'm tired of this talk. At least Chael admits to that shit. That's the goddamn word on the street.
Well, I don't really know how to follow that, but I guess, yeah, fighters should be able. I don't have a problem with it. It's not like they're doing anything illegal, even though people make it sound like it is. It's not illegal, and it just helps them get through training so that they can fight. So, and it's not like TRT helps you win fights, because we've seen plenty of guys that are on TRT lose matches. So,
Todd Duffy.
I don't even know who that is, but anyway, yeah, it's fine by me.
For sure. We got a lot of topics to break down tonight, but first and foremost, we got to get to Yao's training log. He had an important weekend last weekend. It was the first grappling tournament he was a part of, Grappler's Quest in New Jersey. Yao, I'll let you tell everyone what went down and what's on your plate now as far as training and all that shit goes.
Well, it was hard. I didn't place at all in the tournament. It was my first, and it really came down to mistakes that I made during the matches. Things that I made mistakes that I never even make in training, and I went into panic mode and everything, but I have another tournament in 2 weeks, so I'm focused on that for now.
What kind of tournament?
It's another grappling tournament called NAGA, North American Grapplers Association. It's the second biggest in New Jersey, and it'll be both gi and no gi.
Nice. So it'll be pretty similar to the one you were part of last weekend.
For sure, yep. It'll be just the same format and everything, just straight grappling, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you texted me and said, yeah, you didn't win, and I said something along the lines of, you show me someone who never lost, I'll show you someone who never tried. What is your mindset as far as, getting a loss and moving forward?
That tournament, it taught me a lot, and that was to remember to not let anyone put you outside of your game. You know, you have a game plan anytime you compete in any type of sport, and those losses really, like, I'm still learning from it from last week, and they really taught me that I can actually beat anyone, because the guys that beat me, I knew I could beat them on any given day. That's how close I was to beating them before they beat me, and it really just taught me that I could beat anyone.
Can I ask a question here?
Yeah.
You guys mind? So, Yao, you're talking about sticking to that game plan. Don't, let your opposition get their game going on you. Now, that kind of brings me back to this idea that some fighters and grapplers always follow a specific game plan, and other guys say they never go in there with the game plan. Do you think that there's a comfortable ground that you can find where you can find that balance and really dominate, or would you just want to stick to the game plan or go in just with the flow?
But when it comes to grappling by game plan, meaning, everybody has their style of the way they grapple, So even if guys don't say they don't have a game plan, they do, because they have a specific style that they like to grapple with, and that's really what it comes to when you hear like the word like game plan, or even just game. Sometimes they just call it their game, in grappling.
Word. So a lot of guys take time off. I know you were back in the gym Monday, but it was a semi-difficult cut. You made it, but you were talking about your cheat meal. What did you end up doing as far as your cheat meal goes?
Oh man, the cheat meal was great. I had pizza, McDonald's, ice cream, frozen yogurt, Oreos, cookies, soda. The list just goes on and on and on. And I'm still recovering from it.
Good to hear. Yeah, you trained your ass off. You deserve that shit. And when is Naga? You said it's in a few weeks?
Yep, Naga is August 3rd. In 2 weeks, and I have to make weight for that again. So I'll start my weight cut next week.
Damn,
and
August 3rd is like 10 days away.
Yes, sir.
Good man, dude. Looking forward to hearing how you fucking do. That was this week's version of the House Training Log. We'll talk to him next week about Naga. And then after that, you have the Muay Thai tournament, right?
The fall.
Okay, fuck yeah.
I'm excited for that, man. I can't wait. That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
Word. All right, let's move on. Kind of a controversial topic, sticking to the amateur fight sort of topic. Amateur fights. We see legit amateur fights, grappling tournaments, Naga and Grappler's Quest. You see other tournaments where you have like two guys fighting one guy. Another thing, which honestly, myself, I don't know how I feel about this. A fight has been scheduled between two men, one with cerebral palsy and one with Down syndrome. I don't know if I feel like this should be legal or not. In one sense, I feel it definitely should be. I mean, I think the guy's name is Garrett, and it's an inspirational story. It was on SportsCenter, and I think he should be able to fight. But just the idea of putting on a fight between two people who are mentally handicapped and profiting off of it, just something about that seems inherently very wrong. Holy shit, Chris. If anyone should know about illicit activities and spurious means, it's our boy Chris. What the fuck's going on?
What does that even mean? Okay.
Spurious?
No, just the implication that you're putting out there. You're implying. Jesus Christ. I'm right there with you, man. It's one of those cases where you have to consider, is this something that they really want? Is this something they aspire to do? Is this something that they've trained hard for? And even then, is it worth them putting their health on the line for someone to make money off of it? I'm right there with you. It seems kind of spotty for me. Now, with the guy with cerebral palsy, I can see it. If he trains really hard and he puts his mind to it, that's okay. He's not at a mental disadvantage. Garrett is definitely an inspiration. I watched his video. The kid seems to have it. The problem is he's got Down syndrome, man. No matter what, he's not mentally up there or capable, I think, for a combat sport. Even if he kind of had a light sparring match with the guy and his dad was, cheering him on, the fact remains is that I don't think he's mentally capable to put his ass on the line and be strategic against another guy. I don't really support this at all.
I gotta say, man, first thing I want to say is that I don't even believe this story. I think it's some sort of troll job. I don't think it's real, but I'll play along. Let's just assume this shit is going down. You know what? Fuck it. Let's do the cripple fight. Yes, the guy has mild cerebral palsy, which what the fuck does that even mean? Yeah, the only problem I see, the only issue is that, if the guy does have Down syndrome, it'd probably be real easy to, trick him and fool him during the fight or something, But, other than that, why the fuck not? Because I gotta say, most MMA fighters in general are brain damaged. So what's the fucking difference? I'll even go as high as 85%, alright? 85% of all MMA fighters are brain damaged. That's a fact. That's the word on the street.
Again, I don't know how to follow that, but I would try my best. This fight, it really doesn't make sense to me at all. I don't know why anyone would even, allow this to happen. And what's very interesting is seeing, if someone gets very, very hurt, if someone gets a serious injury in this fight, it'll be horrible. It'll be all over the news. You'll hear about it all over the place because, you have a kid with cerebral palsy and another one has Down syndrome. So, the fight, if someone gets really, really injured, it won't turn out well at all.
Yeah, MMA is turning into quite the spectacle. We've got guys with cerebral palsy fighting, we've got guys with Down syndrome fighting, we got guys with one hand fighting, we have mentally retarded fighters like Vanderlei. So, we got Fallon Fox. We have men who are fighting as women, fighting other women. So this is just another one, and I'm entertained and I love it. I love every bit of it. I think MMA needs to be a freak show. I think we need more crazy matchups. But good for them. They're living their dreams. I know this Garrett guy. He really, really loves MMA, wants to be a fighter. So let him live his dream. But at the same time, it is a little alarming. It's not exactly the safest thing. I did see his fight against a guy who was about 5'1", basically 4 foot.
My mom's height. Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty cool to see that go down. But no matter how hard he trains, no matter what, he still doesn't. He won't ever have that. He won't have the reflexes. He won't have just the skill to truly compete in there. But the guy can feel good, and it's a good story.
Right, man, definitely. I had a question real quick, or more like something to pose to you guys. How about the fact that this kind of fight right here is no better ammunition or fodder for the guys in the culinary union that are keeping MMA out of New York? Imagine those guys getting together in a press conference to try and fight the UFC, and they show Fallon Fox, they show women fighting, and they show Garrett fighting a guy with cerebral palsy. Even though we want to say, yeah, this is their dream, let them do it, it still stands that, mixed martial arts isn't fully legal in every state. And this is no better way to get people to kind of be turned off to MMA.
Exactly. I agree with Chris. That's why the first thing I said was I don't even believe this story. I don't think this fight's going to happen. I think this is fake bullshit. It's got troll job written all over it, man. That's the word on my street.
Honestly, I mean, and I respect you Ross and Yao, but I don't care much anymore if New York legalizes MMA. I mean, New Jersey's right there. They do a lot of events in Jersey, And honestly, maybe this is New York's punishment for being so fucking corrupt. Spencer or Shelby, that guy on the board of commissioners.
Sheldon Silver is
fucking
the
asshole.
Speaker of the Assembly. He is an absolute prick. He's the most corrupt politician in all of politics. And honestly, it would be an absolute shame if if young guys who are aspiring to be fighters like Yao and myself can never get the chance to one day potentially fight in Madison Square Garden or at least somewhere in New York. And it's absolutely disgusting, and that dude needs to drop dead immediately.
Politicians are there to serve the people, and I hate that this is hurting the people of New York more than anyone else, even though I think the government itself is hurting a lot from it, because think about at this point in the UFC, how many events would have been in New York at this point if MMA had been legal from the get-go? Probably 20. Think about the amount of money a major city like New York makes with a big UFC event. Multiply that by 20. New York has lost out on billions of dollars for being corrupt. And you know
so
what?
Stupid.
I feel like that's what they deserve for just being fuck nuts. And it sucks for guys like Ross and Yao who live there and can't see an MMA match. But it's like, god damn, this is fucking so stupid. And we could rant about this all fucking night. Let's move on. Talking about stupidity, in my opinion, the UFC is doing something very stupid with this whole fighter pay thing. They're dragging their heels. Guys on the Facebook prelims aren't making enough money to feed their families. They have to take second jobs. Literally, the worst player in the WNBA makes twice as much in a year as a prelim fighter does in the UFC. A woman who sits on the bench in a sporting and does nothing in a sporting league that is maybe 100 times less popular than the UFC is getting paid twice as much. How much sense does this fucking make? And Dana White and Zuffa, for some reason, are looking at it from a straight dollars and cents standpoint as, well, we want to pay him $8,000 instead of $12,000, because that's really, if you upped this minimum pay scale from 8 to show, 8 to win, to 12 to show, 12 to win, that'd probably be good enough. A guy fights 3 times a year, makes $36K. That would probably be good enough. But they're dragging their heels over this small amount, and I think it's going to hurt them in the long run. Because the UFC, what is their main goal? Be a mainstream sport. Well, you can't be a mainstream sport if you're not paying your guys enough to not have to have a second job. In the NFL, people last year were arguing that referees shouldn't have to have a side job. Yes, that referees weren't making much, which referees in the NFL make a shit ton more than prelim fighters in the UFC. So if the UFC wants to be mainstream, wants to be like the NFL, how about you pay your guys? Because once this starts to turn into an issue that the mainstream fan knows about, they're going to think of the UFC as cheap, and they're not going to think of them as a behemoth like the NBA, MLB, NFL. I've gone back and forth with people on Twitter, and they make a good point, but the UFC has a monopoly. Whether you like it or not, the UFC has a monopoly as the top MMA organization in the world. They are at a level that no other organization is. Bellator and 1MMA are good, but nowhere near the UFC. So the UFC has this sort of monopoly on the market. Any champion in Bellator or 1MMA would gladly go to the UFC to be a prelim fighter, and they have that leverage. So what do they use it for? To fix the amount of money that they're going to pay guys and make it artificially low just because they don't have to. Like if you're going to shortchange anyone, don't shortchange the fucking prelim fighter, the guy that's the backbone of your organization. And I'm almost done on this rant. And people say, oh, well, who's turning into the UFC to watch the guy on Facebook? Who's turning in to watch this no-name guy? They aren't a draw whatsoever. All right, maybe, but guess what? You're still selling ads during their fight. People are still watching the fight. And when these people are watching the fight, do you not play ads because they're not a draw? No, you play ads and you make a shitload of money off of the ads. You put ads in the octagon they're fighting on. There are fucking ads everywhere. You make a shitload off of that, off the pay-per-views, off of the gate. And the fact that they're trying to shortchange these guys, as you can fucking tell, makes me very frustrated. I'm done. Ramses, what the fuck is going on with fighter pay?
Jake, I love you to death, but I disagree with everything you said, every point you made. I'm sorry, man. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm sick and tired of people complaining about the UFC not paying the fighters enough. Look, people it's because you're getting the basic premise wrong.
How dare you?
It is not an organized sport. It is not a national sport. It is not a team sport. It is a private company that pays people to fight one-on-one against each other, fight by fight. Okay, there aren't any seasons. It is not an organized and ranked sport. Yeah, they came up with some bullshit rankings.
Yeah.
Oh come on. Yeah,
and
that's why Jones and Sonnen fought.
And technically, the NFL and all the organizations under it are private too. But I'm not gonna.
I gave you your time.
I'm not gonna debate
now
you
give me mine,
sucker.
All right. Another thing, it is a private company. All right. And
Cocksucker.
because of that reason, I'm saying, man, they're overpaying these fucking fighters. The top tier people, Dan Henderson, Rashad Evans, Machida, you saw them when they fought each other. The most boring ass fights you've ever seen. You know why? Because they already made their money just signing their name on a fucking piece of paper. You understand me? We want to see fights. Look, the UFC, like I said, I can't stress it enough. It is not the government. It doesn't owe you anything. They don't even have to have an HR department. They didn't even have to have the fighter insurance program, which they pay out their ass for, paying for surgeries for fighters that are never going to even fight for them or make them another dime. We interviewed one of them. God damn. It's countless now. Also, let's fucking face it, people. You're only worth what your fight is worth. Honestly, man, if you're in the fight business, you know what the fuck you're signing up for. All right? You're lucky. Honestly, the Dana White and the Fertitta brothers, they don't even have to pay those bonuses, man. They don't have to do that, but they fucking do. They're doing the best they can. I think they're very generous. We can't kick them when they're the only people that have gotten this, quote, sport off the ground. They're the only people trying to make it fair. They got the insurance. They're even entertaining a union right now, a fighters union. That's how ridiculous this is getting. They don't have to pay these people shit. Honestly, and they don't have a monopoly. Obviously, we're seeing that with the Viacom, Bellator. I mean, you got Invicta out there. You got people that can't lock it all up. They haven't even tried. They know better than to do that because they don't want that kind of heat on them. They've even had a trial about it. They can't even prove it's a monopoly in court. Right? Enough is enough. The UFC is doing the best they can. They don't even have to do what they're doing at this point, but they're doing it. Bonuses, insurance. Bottom line, fighters are lucky that they're even making a damn dime. A damn dime. That's all I gotta say.
And really quick to kind of get to your point about the monopoly, I was talking to Mike Hammersmith on Twitter. Shout out to Mike, and he made an interesting point. I was like, this is obviously an antitrust issue. Like they're a monopoly and they're fixing the prices that they're paying fighters. Like, I don't think this is right. And he asked, well, is it a monopoly if you created the thing you're a monopoly of? And that's a really good point, because none of this demand would be there if it wasn't for the UFC. But at the same time, I said, yeah, like Alexander Bell created the telephone, and the Bell company ended up having a monopoly that they had to split up 100 years later. So yeah, it's fucking crazy. Who's fucking next? Yao, what do you think about fighter pay? You're a fighter. What do you think?
Both you guys made very, very, very solid points, about the whole fighter pay issue. And I mean, there's nothing left for me to really say except one thing that Dana did bring up in an interview that I watched about a couple weeks ago, where he said, if you look at all the top fighters, they all started off with that low pay scale, that $8,000 check. They all started off with that. And it's what you do with that, what you do with that, how you take it from there, how you use it to grow and everything. And I believe it. I believe that they all started, Jones, Cain Velasquez, all these guys. I believe that they did start off with those $8,000 paychecks, but they stuck with it, and it comes down to how bad you really want to be the best fighter in the world. And I don't believe that they're overpaid, like Ramsey said. I think they could be paid a lot more. And the fighters on the prelims, like Jake said, I think, $12,000 would be good, because you have to think about it. Training is very, very expensive. Your supplements, your food, you have, your home and utilities, all that stuff comes into play. And training especially is a very, very large amount of money to pay out for your training and everything. And they could be given a little bit more. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, fighter pay it's a really touchy subject, because there's two different ways of looking at it. I mean, sure, Dana White makes a great point. You have to earn your way, just like in any other job. You have to climb up the pay scale. You got to climb up the corporate ladder. At the same time, these are professional athletes, and their likeness is being basically whored out in front of millions and millions of people. And they're going out there and they're putting their lives basically on the line 3 times a year, and they're only making $8,000 and $8,000 for it. They're getting $16,000 for it. Something's fucked up about it. There needs to be some changes. You can't expect every guy to get paid $1 million for a fight. You can't just sign every guy to a 3-year, $52 million contract. It's just not going to happen. But prelim fighters do need to make more money. A lot of it, though, it lies in the sponsors. I mean, if you look at a lot of these sponsors, the problem with prelim fights, especially on Facebook, is it's difficult to find sponsors. And then once you do find sponsors, it's difficult to collect money from the sponsors. We see guys like War Machine and Roy Nelson complaining that their sponsors aren't paying them because you fight in front of 2 people. Or I mean, Roy Nelson's last fight, they barely did it did definitely less than 200,000 buys. So if you're fighting in front of less than 200,000 people basically on television, your sponsors aren't gonna, they're gonna be pissed. So you can't really pinpoint someone whose fault it is, but there definitely needs to be changes. There needs to be some sort of uniform thing, but until there's a fighters union, which is not going to happen for a long time, this issue will remain forever.
Wow, guys, this has been one of the best segments ever on either of the podcasts. This is a great talk. I agree with every single one of you here. The UFC, they lose out if a guy comes in, gets paid more, and looks like, Jacob Volkman or Danny Castillo or just some boring-ass dude. Fighters are definitely, I think, getting underpaid. I mean, yeah, they have to prove themselves like anyone else, but would it be that crazy if they had an extra $2,000 or $3,000 in their pockets? I don't think Zuffa's going to take a real hit to their, checkbook if they pay out a couple $1,000s more. Or how about a per diem for training? They pay for your gym membership and they pay for your sparring partners and, maybe a certain amount per day to eat, something like that. I think that's fair. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibilities.
Listen to this liberal communist.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. So this liberal has to say that, the UFC, they do hold all the cards. It's an entertainment business until they get a fighters union, just like was brought up plenty of times. So I think the only way to fix this thing is to help the fighters in some way. A little bit more money, or how about just paying a little bit more for their training costs, and then they could have a little bit more in their pocket. Everybody's happy. It's not going to hurt Zuffa, and it's going to help the fighters. Why not?
Ramsey, did you have something to add?
Do they test fighters for crystal meth? I'm just wondering. Can you
I would imagine they do, yeah.
Okay, I was just watching a Fuel TV, and they were showing like a slow-mo highlight of Mark Munoz's last fight. He's definitely on something, guys. Anyway, that's all I had to say.
Crystal meth, watch out for it. Ross, did you want to say
and
something?
Liberals.
Oh, wait, no, Ross, never mind. You was saying something different. All right. The Bendo camp and the Pettis camp, they're already talking shit. They're ready for this rematch to go down. The Bendo camp is saying the Showtime kick was a fluke. Anthony Pettis is saying that Ben Henderson manipulates the rules, which obviously he doesn't know what the word manipulate means, because he said he manipulates the rules and then went on to explain that he follows the rules and doesn't change them. So I think, Pettis, you need to look up what the word, manipulate means. Bendo, you're saying that Showtime kick was a fluke. You better not hope it happens again. I don't think there's either. I don't think there's any validity to either statement. What do you guys think? Yao?
Yeah, these guys, they obviously hate each other. So, I mean, anything anybody says is just gonna create fire, and they're just gonna start arguing and everything. But them calling the Showtime kick a fluke is retarded. I mean, Showtime kick with the fluke is stupid. I mean, you can obviously see he set it up. He knew what he was doing. It's Bendo's fault. He dropped his hands and just walked backwards like that. And then, Pettis saying that he manipulates the rules. You made a good point. That doesn't really make sense. I mean, you can't manipulate the rules. You could just, use them to your favor. But I just can't wait to see this fight. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, of course they're both gonna fire at each other. I mean, it's no secret that Bendo would. I mean, do you really think Bendo would go, oh yeah, that kick, it was no fluke, he's better than me? No, he's gonna say it was a fluke, and he's gonna whoop his ass this time, and Pettis is gonna say, oh, he's a cheap fighter, he does this and that. And the answer, who gives a shit? I mean, we'll find out on August 31st whether or not Bendo manipulates the rules or whether or not the Showtime kick was a fluke. And we leave it at that.
I think John Crouch is an idiot, the coach for Ben Henderson, that said that kick is a fluke. It was the last, minute and a half in a 25-minute fight. Anthony Pettis ran up the cage and threw a kick, and it landed. If anything, that's the opposite of a fluke. That is a very hard technique to apply after a championship fight. That's just stupid. And as far as Pettis' camp saying that Bendo manipulates the rules, I'll tell you what, man. If you have a problem with the way the unified rules are set up, why don't you go to the commissions and start petitioning to change them? Because those are the rules. The guy fights and he wins. He finds a way to win. I think they're both pretty stupid. But to say that kick was a fluke, I think that's way stupider. I think that's a word.
Girls go to Jupiter to get more stupider. Ramses?
Oh yeah, I only have two things to say about this fucking fight. All right, people. Number one, it will be the rematch. Showtime versus Bendo will be a total shoot. It will be a real fight. It will not be a worked title match.
Oh
real
my
fight.
Goodness.
Number two, the Showtime kick will be attempted once more. I have that on good authority. As deep as that shit. That's the word on the street.
Damn. Do you know what round this is going to go down in?
How many, is it a 5-round fight? Right, it is, right? Title
fight, yep.
6 rounds.
I didn't get that information, but let me just speculate. What would I do? I'd have it go down in Definitely round 5. Let's go ahead and go with the 2 minutes into it. 2 minutes and 18 seconds into the fight. There you go. Put it down,
the
people.
Showtime kick. If it actually happens, I will poop my pants. Speaking of pooping my pants, we will be talking about the fight announcements upcoming. We got 5 to talk about, but first and foremost, we got to get to the 10 seconds of sports, where we break down all sports, not MMA, but keep it to 10 seconds. My Rays are red hot, ready to take over the AL East. Ryan Braun suspended for the rest of the season. A-Rod likely facing punishment soon, might be banned for life. Florida linebacker Antonio Morrison arrested in Gainesville for barking at a police dog. Greg Oden works out for the Heat.
Fuck.
And you heard it right. A linebacker for my Florida Gators got arrested for barking at a police dog. Which, honestly, I thought, man, that's something I would see myself doing as a college freshman. Holy shit. But I think all the charges were dropped because the Gainesville cops are the kind of people that shoot kids with polio in a wheelchair in the head. All right, let's talk about Paulo Thiago out of UFC Fight Night 27 against... Sorry, I was typing something and lost everything I was saying. Paulo Thiago out with an injury. He was going to face Kelvin Gastelum. Now instead, Gastelum will face Brian. And before I say his last name, it's spelled Malancon. But we got a tweet from our friend Brandon Bell, SurferGuy7979 on Twitter, and he told us that that's actually not the way it's pronounced. I looked it up. It's spelled Malancon. Melancon. Malancon. But apparently the pronunciation is Malasaw. Even though the last words are C-O-N, apparently that's pronounced saw. I don't know. Malasaw. And he tells people to say Melanson. But I already hate the shit out of this guy just because of his name. I can't wait till Kelvin Gastelum beats him to a bloody pulp. Ross, what do you think about this fight, and what do you think about this cocksucker's name?
I will not even try to pronounce the name because it is pretty much impossible. So I'm just going to call him Dead Man. And I think the Dead Man, and no, not the Undertaker, is a dead man, obviously. Kelvin's going to whoop his ass. He has nothing for him. He can't outstrike Kelvin. He can't out-wrestle Kelvin. He can't out-grapple Kelvin. He doesn't have the heart of Kelvin. He doesn't have the desire, the drive, nothing. Kelvin is the young, hungry lion, as Vitor would say. He's going to go out there. He's going to finish this motherfucker in a round.
Okay, I think Brian Melanson will win by a Superman elbow. Superman elbow in the second round against the cage after 2 minutes.
Against Gastelum? You think Gastelum's going to lose?
Oh, yeah. He's going to knock out Gastelum with a Superman elbow. Mm-hmm.
Damn, while he says his last name.
What, like Dragon Ball Z?
Chris is out of his fucking mind, people. Alright? Let me tell you what's gonna happen. It ain't no thing to fucking Kelvin Gastelum, alright? We talked to him yesterday. I was asking him, I had to tell him who he was fucking fighting. That's how bad it was. Kelvin don't give a fuck who you put in front of him. He was just like, well, I guess the fight's gonna go however it goes. And I believe that motherfucker. He doesn't give a fuck. He knows he's gonna win. He wasn't even concerned about it in the least bit. He was having sushi at probably a strip club, allegedly. I agree with everything Ross said. What's up, Yao?
Yeah, to be completely honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Kelvin loses this fight. He's not that good. His fights on The Ultimate Fighter weren't that impressive. His fight to beat, when he beat Uriah Hall, wasn't that impressive. He's not really good at anything. He just finds a way to win, and that makes a dangerous guy, but I wouldn't be surprised if he loses to Brian.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. Alright, we've got a few more fights. This one I think is my favorite of the bunch. Pat Bam Bam Healy taking on Khabib Nurmagomedov. Holy shit, both of these guys love to fight. Bam Bam versus the Eagle. The Eagle's 20-0. Bam Bam coming off impressive win against Jim Miller. A lot of people will call it a no contest, but just because he smoked weed a little bit before the fight doesn't take anything out of it. He beat Jim Miller, and he's going to face off against the Eagle, and the winner is going to be in title contendership at 155, probably one of the top 5 guys in that division. I love the shit out of this fight. I got Healy by 3rd round submission. Chris, who you got?
God, this fight is so goddamn hot.
It makes me hard, literally.
We got Pat Bam Bam Healy, man. How can any of us on this podcast go against the guy who won 2 of the night, awards, and then gets them stripped away because a little bit of weed, man? That guy's gangster. Man, so gangster. But obviously the Zuffa brass saw enough in him actually beating Jim Miller in that fight of the night performance. And they said, hey, we can't send this guy back to the middle of the pack or the back of the line. We got to give him somebody good. And that's who Pat's getting in this fight. Nurmagomedov, I know right now Yao has no idea who this guy is, but he's a badass. He's beat Gleison Tebow. He beat Thiago Tavares, and he kind of dominated and set a record against Abel Trujillo. So the guy is a fucking force in the division. This fight right here is America versus Russia. And as much as I want to say Pat Healy takes it, I love the guy. He's a stoner and an American. I got to go with the Eagle. That guy is fucking beast.
Dude's out of his fucking mind again, man. He's crazy, people. This Chris guy, he's crazy. I don't know where he came from. Patrick Bam Bam Healy's going to take this thing. He's going to take this motherfucker all the way. There's a reason he won those of the night bonuses, all right? There's a goddamn reason that happened. Yes, it was stripped from him for smoking the sacred plant. That's why he's angry. He's going to fuck this dude up, man. Nurmagomedov, he ain't got a chance. That's all I got to say.
I'll bet you, dude. I'll bet you, man. Sig bet, whatever kind of bet you want. I'll drink my own piss if I lose. I'll bet you on this fight.
Why is that always the first thing? You're like, it's almost like you're looking for reasons to drink your own piss now.
Hey, guys, listen. I will drink someone else's pee if this happens. There you go.
Powerful.
Piss?
Yeah, for this fight, Chris said, I would know who Khabib the Eagle is, but I do know because he beat Abel Trujillo, a Black Zillion, in his last fight. Pretty one-sided, one-sided fight. But in this fight, I got to go with the Eagle. I don't think Patrick Healy or whatever. What is his name? Yeah, Pat Healy, whatever. I don't think he'll be able to stop the wrestling of the Eagle. His wrestling is amazing. He's like a Russian wrestler or whatever. I don't think he'll be able to stop that. And
he was born in Kabul, Afghanistan.
Oh, well.
Terrorist.
There you go. He has dynamite in his hands. But, yeah, I think...
that was a good one. It was muted, but I was laughing. That was a good one.
I got that from MMA Roasted,
he's literally got dynamite in his hands, run!
Yeah. But, yeah, I got to go with the Eagle.
Ross?
Yeah, I'm going to have to... I'm going to have to agree with Yao. I got to go with the Eagle. I mean, I love me some Pat Healy. Pat Healy is shut the fuck up. Pat Healy.
What the fuck?
I don't know what's going on here. It sounds like we got birds on the podcast.
Are you done now?
You with us? Yep.
May the Jews speak.
Speak.
1942 all over again. All right, listen up. I love me some Pat Healy, but at the end of the day, Khabib Nurmagomedov is unfreaking believable. Guy is 24 years old. He's not even in the prime of his career. He's 20-0. He is throwing motherfuckers around. He is finishing guys. He is well-rounded. Pat Healy seems to find a way to win, but at the end of the day, he's not going to find a way to win here. Khabib's he's going to finish this fight. If you look back at the Pat Healy-Jim Miller fight, Pat Healy was literally about a second or two away from being finished in the first round. He was saved by the bell. That's not going to happen this time. He's going to get finished. It's all over for Pat Healy. Sorry, buddy.
It is all over. Chris, have you weighed in yet? I'm really high. Yeah, you did. All right. We will move on. A fight that was made today, actually, on UFC on Fight Night 29, which will be in Brazil. We got Matt Hamill taking on Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva's a bum. He hasn't beaten anybody of note. And I got Matt Hamill taking this one via unanimous decision. He's going to put Thiago on his prissy little ass, as Sonnen said once. And I really don't think Silva has much of a chance in this one. Yeah?
Yeah, Thiago Silva has this one. He's going to win. His striking is getting better and better. He's working with the best coaches in the world. Henry Hooft and Roberto Flamingo from the Black Cillians down in Florida. His striking is increasing. He has Rashad there, to help him work on his wrestling. Kenny Monday at the Black Cillians camp. He has this. He'll beat Matt Hamill impressively and move one step closer to a title shot.
Did you say his name was Kenny Monday?
Yes, that's their wrestling coach.
Yeah.
Kenny
and Roberto
Monday.
Flamingo and Henry Hoover. They all sound like characters out of a movie, cocksucker.
Mike Elephant.
Kenny Monday, Kenny Sunday, Kenny Tuesday, Kenny Wednesday. It doesn't matter. Thiago Silva still sucks. It's not going to change anything. The guy hasn't looked good in a billion years. He's not on the juice anymore. He can't fight. He got a win over a guy who had absolutely no cardio, and he was getting hit before that for the first 2 minutes of that fight. Matt Hamill's got wrestling. That's all you need. He's going to win this fight. Easy.
I don't think Matt Hamill's going to hear the bongo drums coming when Thiago Silva takes his back and beats the fuck out of him for a TKO in the first round.
Ramses?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Matt Hamill, dude, I didn't even know he was in the fucking UFC still until today. If anybody's ever watched, I don't even have an opinion on this fight. But I'll just say the Matt Hamill movie, what was it called? The Hammer or whatever?
No, it was called The Hammer!
Matt the Hammer!
That fucking movie will just make you realize, like, it'll make you hate Matt Hamill even more. You know what I'm saying? It was that bad.
I'm the best!
Yeah, they try to make him look like a handsome guy in college, like he was charming and shit. Like, what? I saw real pictures of Matt Hamill back. You're deaf, but why can't he dress himself? What's going on?
Want to give me a blow job in my dorm room?
All I gotta say about this fight, this upcoming Matt Hamill fight, is that his movie stunk, and you should never watch it. That's the word on the street. I'll pass it on.
Ron, did you have another point you wanted to make?
Yeah, Matt, I actually, first of all, I want to say it's an honor. Second of all,
Thank
I
you.
want to say...
It's an honor to talk to the dude. The MMA dude.
We all need to realize Matt Hamill has done something that no man other than him has ever done. He is the only person to defeat John Jones. That is a tremendous accomplishment. He defeated him with headbutts to the elbow. It was an unbelievable finish. We got to give props to the guy. So
stoppage.
He's going to win this fight.
Yes.
I can't hear
Excellent
much,
point.
but I can hear John Jones' elbows butting my skull in half. All right, moving on.
With elbows.
Moving
Excellent
on.
point.
You're going to hell, dude.
Oh, yeah, for sure. At UFC 166, we got Sean Jordan and Gabe Gonzaga. We also have G-Sot and KJ Noons. Both of them are fights I'm interested in, but none of them are the most notable fight in the world, so I kind of stuck them both into the same topic. Who you got in either fight, and which one are you more pumped for? I'm more pumped for Jordan versus Gabriel, because we're probably going to see a finish, and the winner of the fight's gonna be thought of as a top 10, top 15 heavy. G-Sod versus Noons are just kind of a couple guys trying to get back on the right track. I have Jordan in the first one. You got a young guy versus an aging guy. And that's simply the only reason. Aging guy. And in G-Sot versus Noons, I like Soteropoulos a lot, but he has just not looked good whatsoever since losing that fight. I forget who he fought, but he was on top of the world, and since losing that fight in Australia, I remember it was an upset loss. He's not looked good whatsoever. Ramses, who you got in both these fights?
I'm not even going to waste the listeners' time. Nobody gives a fuck about these fights. Jordan versus Gonzaga, Soteropoulos versus Nunes. Nobody gives a fuck, all right? There was a chance that I was going to be at UFC 166 in Houston, Texas, to see this shit. And even if I had shown, like, I'd be like, oh, now I know where my piss break and beer buying break is going to be. Jordan versus Gonzaga and Soteropoulos versus Nunes. Nobody gives a fuck, but you guys can try to, I'll just pass it along. Sorry. Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, Ramses is right. These are two bum fights. But I do think that Gabriel Gonzaga will defeat Sean Jordan. I think that he is smarter than Sean Jordan. Is that his name?
That's
Sean
racist.
Jordan?
Yeah, it is.
God.
Yeah, I think he's I think he's smarter than Sean Jordan, and I think he will defeat him. And I think who is KJ Nunes fighting?
George Soteropoulos, a black man.
George Soteropoulos.
He's about 6'2", 7'4". He's black.
He's a stacked stallion.
He was on The Ultimate Fighter 6. He beat a bunch of nobodies and then lost a bunch in a row, trying to make his way back.
Well,
his dad's a girl.
Then I don't even have an opinion on that fight. But yeah, I think Gabriel Gonzaga will outsmart Sean Jordan. And I need Sean Jordan to win because I'm pretty sure he's a Greg Jackson fighter.
Once again, that's racist
so
as fuck.
hot.
Ross, what do you think about these two bouts?
Well, I'll start with Soteropoulos versus Nunes. This one's pretty easy for me. I mean, George Soteropoulos has just had the biggest fall from grace ever. The guy was on a 7-fight winning streak. He was apparently the next guy in line for the title.
Who was his loss to?
He lost to Dennis Seaver in
right.
Australia back at UFC 127, and then he lost to Rafael dos Anjos, and then again to Ross Pearson. The guy's chin is completely gone. He was knocked out by a boxing coach on The Ultimate Fighter.
His wife left him for a
Nunes,
kangaroo.
as we know, has pretty damn good boxing. KJ Nunes knocks him out. As far as Jordan Gonzaga goes, I mean, if Gonzaga can get it down, it's over. If Jordan can keep it on the feet, Jordan's got this one, and I'm going to pick Sean Jordan. I think Gabriel Gonzaga gets hit, and everybody knows if Gabriel Gonzaga gets hit, Gabriel Gonzaga goes down. And Sean Jordan's got massive power in his hands. Sean Jordan wins this one by knockout in the first round.
These fights are really, really mean. I mean, Soteropoulos versus Nunes, really a guy that's a professional boxer facing a guy that can't take a punch, and a big, fat, slow Brazilian with a black belt in jiu-jitsu is facing an athletic ex-football player who has knockout power.
Kind of like Couture's last fight. Who did they match him up with to get murdered by? Ryan Couture.
Oh, Ryan.
Cheetah, dude, he got front kicked in the
Ross Pearson.
Oh, Junior.
Yeah, Ryan versus Pearson, and like Lesnar. Hey, Lesnar, your insides are all mush. We're gonna make you fight Alistair Overeem.
That sounds pretty good. I bet I'll F5 him and I'll suplex him down to the ground.
Alistair,
Brock
what do you think about Brock's guts?
Well, I think that sometimes I imagine just placing a kick to the gut, and he crumples down like a little faggot, and then I punch him in the face 3 to 4 times.
Oh, I'm sorry, Chris. I think you were in the middle of a point, and I started being a douche.
Yeah, no, I was just talking about Nunes is going to knock out Soteropoulos, a guy with boxing talent and the way that he can slip punches. He's going to knock out Soteropoulos. Gonzaga is, at this point, kind of a sub-gatekeeper. He's not quite a gatekeeper, and Jordan is an athletic guy. He'll knock him out.
Oh, shit, it's me? All right, we got Cormier and Roy Nelson at UFC 166. Ramses, you're going to miss out on it, even though you got your brother's wedding. What the fuck? I feel bad for you. They're stacking this card. And we will see Cormier Nelson, battle of the big guys, the Black Fedor versus Big Country. Who you got in this one? I think I've said it a few times now, but it's now official. We were kind of talking about it theoretically last time around. Now it's official. Cormier 30-26 lock. Ross?
Yeah, this is just terrible matchmaking. At the same time, it's good matchmaking in the sense that they're not giving Verdum to Cormier, because if they gave Verdum to Cormier, that would be risking, that would be basically killing off a contender and having a guy go down to 205. I think Cormier wins this fight easily. He just needs to hug him against the cage, like he's perfected. And then I'm telling you right now, and I'm making this bold prediction: Super Bowl weekend in New Jersey, February 1st, John Jones will fight Daniel Cormier for the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship, UFC 169 or 170. It depends if they do a pay-per-view in January. That's what's going to happen.
Well, that sounds very bold, man. Cormier versus Nelson. We all agree. Roy Nelson has punched his ticket a long time ago. The guy can't beat anyone near the top 10. He can't even sniff it. And Cormier is a badass. I think Cormier is an assassin, and he's going to be the first guy to ever finish Roy Nelson because he's got that crazy good cardio. He can go in there. He can wrestle Nelson down. He can do whatever he wants. I think he's going to be the first guy to ever make Roy Nelson either tap or go to sleep.
Yeah, this fight is really fucking suspicious. It's got work written all over it, people. It's just something doesn't seem right with this fight going down to Houston. The Mexican crowd, you're going to have this big country boy come out there to born in the UFC.
Holy shit, dude, you're making a really good point, actually.
I'm predicting
he's fighting in the fattest state in the country.
Yep, I'm predicting a DC knockout of Roy Nelson. Also, Roy Nelson signed back to the UFC, and apparently he was saying, I'm going to fight for the UFC for the rest of my life. Basically, man, if he signed up, you know what I mean, like a, quote, lifetime contract to the UFC, that means, he knows he's not getting a fucking title shot. Not really. They're never going to let Roy Nelson be the champion of the UFC. He knows that. So basically, he signed the dotted line. I'm predicting him, he's going to take a lot of dives here upcoming. That is the word on the street, goddammit.
Yeah, Daniel Cormier should win this fight impressively and very, one-sided. It should be like a very, one-sided fight. He's too athletic, he's too sharp, and he's too quick for Roy Nelson, and he's smarter than him. I think he's much sharper and smarter than Roy Nelson, and I think he's going to come up with a game plan that will make him shine. Not like the game plan he used against Frank Mir was very good and it was effective, but I think he'll come up with an even better one to where he can actually showcase all of his skills and all of his talent that he has.
For sure. Yeah, that's actually a really excellent point, and it'll be interesting. I mean, Nelson, I think he signed a 9-fight contract. We are going to have Mike Kogan on. I DM'd him. We'll have him on in a couple of weeks. We'll talk about the contract. But yeah, apparently I think there's nine fights in it or something. It's kind of crazy. We will shift gears really quick before we shift gears. I'm watching the recorded Rays game. Shout out to Dave Price. 3rd straight consecutive game in 4 games, son. Even though no one has no idea what I'm talking about, except for maybe Ross. Speaking of which, we're getting into UFC on Fox 8, changing gears. That's going to be this weekend's card. Ross, actually, like I teased in the beginning, he's got a new segment. I don't know even what it's called yet. I know the music I'm supposed to play during it, but it does pertain to UFC on Fox 8. It does pertain to betting tips, and really, even if you don't bet, I like to look at the lines Vegas makes, because Vegas is in the business of making money. So they have pros who set the lines as close to as close to fair as possible. They can't be setting stupid lines or they'd lose money. So I like looking at lines and thinking, all right, so the best in the business think that there's a 10-to-1 chance X wins by sub, X wins by KO. If you're not really familiar with betting, you can bet on a guy straight up, or you can bet on props, which is like whether you think someone's going to win inside 5 rounds, win in the first round. If you had Chris Weidman in the second round during UFC 162, you would have made a shitload of money. If you had him by KO, you would have made a shitload of money. And those are prop bets. You bet on specific things, the outcome, when it ends, etc. And after all that fucking explaining, I think I'm ready to pass it off to Ross and ready to give you the first segment. I don't even know what this shit's called. Ross, take it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, first off, I want to say I am a Jew, which means I know how to handle money. If you all recall, at UFC 162, Vegas reported that there was a $1 million bet on Chris Weidman. Ladies and gentlemen, I will now announce that was me. I am now $2.5 million richer. So I'm going to spread the wealth. I'm going to share some of my Jewishness with you. L'chaim, let's do it. All right, first of all, on the prelims, I'm going to start this with saying I've got 6 prop bets for all of you. I'm only going props tonight. There is nobody who has a straight line that is nice. So let's start with the prelims. First of all, Crookshank Edwards. I love this fight. I love both guys. The universe is going to explode. There is no way one guy beats the other. No way. This fight is going to be a draw. You can get this at plus 6,500. That is a steal. You can make so much money. Bet the house right now. The other fight, Herman Smith. Trevor Smith has absolutely nothing to offer Ed Herman. Ed Herman is just a much better fighter everywhere. Ed Herman takes this inside the distance. You can get this minus 150. Perfect bet, in my opinion. Go ahead. Then the other last fight on the prelims that I would put my money on, I would put all my money on Julie Kedzie winning inside the distance, plus 257. Germaine has great Muay Thai, but other than her Muay Thai, she has nothing. Kedzie is she's working all aspects of mixed martial arts. Jackson, she looked unbelievable against Miesha Tate. She's going to whoop ass. She takes this inside the distance, plus 257.
Powerful.
Now on the main card, we've got four fights on the main card. I mean, I would completely stay away from the Carmouche fight. You don't know anything about that Brazilian girl, so stay away. You never know what can happen with this Carmouche. But Bobby Volker, Robbie Lawler, it's easy to see what's going to happen. Robbie Lawler, he's got dynamite in his hands. He's going to knock this motherfucker out. You can get that minus 120. Bet the house. Now, the co-main event. Very tricky fight. A lot of people are calling Rory McDonald the next best thing. I am personally calling Rory McDonald an absolute joke. Rory McDonald will not beat Jake Ellenberger. Ellenberger will knock this motherfucker out. Ellenberger by knockout or TKO is plus 325. That is money in your pocket already, and if there's one thing I know, it's I like money in my pocket. And in the main event, this is the boldest prediction, the boldest bet of all. Looking at those lines, you can go the easy way. You can bet Demetrius Johnson takes this by decision. Oh, be a pansy. No, you got to be a man. You got to bet on John Moraga winning this by knockout or TKO. Plus 880. John Moraga has killer knockout power. He's got killer striking, killer grappling, but his striking's going to win him this fight. He is going to catch Demetrius Johnson just like John Dodson is, only he will finish this fight. John Moraga wins this. The Ghetto Man wins this. That's all I've got for you. Tune in next week. I will teach you how to be even more Jewish. I will tell you how to make as much money as possible. And remember, the love of money.
Thank you, Ross, for the love of money. I don't even know if that's the title of it yet. It's a working title. UFC on Fox 8. We mentioned a lot of fights. And there are a shitload of good prelims on the fight. And if you can tell I'm stalling, that's because I'm stalling, ladies and gentlemen. I'm pulling up the card right fucking now to look at it. The one fight, obviously, I'm going to be watching closely is Eve Edwards versus Darren Cruikshank. God damn, that's going to be an amazing fight. I'm sad one of them's got to lose, but unfortunately it's going to have to be the Thug Jitsu Master, because Cruikshank's not losing, ladies and gentlemen. On the Facebook card, we have John Albert, the other guy who was on the first first step of the MMA podcast. Yeah, a little seg there. John Albert taking on Yautzin Meza, and Aaron Riley taking on Justin Salas in the lightweight division. And on the FX card, we're starting off with Kedzie and Jermaine De Randamie. Ed Herman taking on Trevor Smith in the middleweights. And then we got 4 very interesting lightweight bouts. I'm really, really looking forward to these. Eve Edwards and Cruikshank, like I mentioned. Melvin Gillard, who I think Yao is calling the future lightweight champion, versus Mac Danzig. Danny Castillo and Tim Means. Michael Chiesa and George Masvidal. We'll go ahead and knock out Liz Carmouche and Jessica Andrade in the prelims, because let's face it, none of us know who Jessica Andrade is, and we only know who Liz Carmouche is because she just fought Rousey. Which of these fights do you like the most? Obviously, for me, it's Edwards versus Cruikshank. Both of these guys like to stand and like to brawl, and it's going to be a brawl. The Michael Chiesa fight is going to be interesting, too. We'll see if the John O. Grzuski factor is a deal within that fight. We got Melvin Gillard fighting Mac Danzig. Gillard has heavy hands, but Mac is a real UFC vet, so that'll be interesting as well. I like all these fights. Who the fuck is leading off today? God damn it. Chris, which of these matches stick out to you?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. This 8-man, 4-way, lightweight prelim that we have here is pretty fucking awesome. Looking at all these fights, they're all very interesting. Melvin making his comeback. Mac Danzig, can he find redemption? You know, Darren Cruikshank and Eve Edwards, the veteran versus the crafty, unpredictable Taekwondo phenom that is Darren Cruikshank. I love that dude. But I'm looking forward most to Michael Chiesa. We've seen him choke out Al Iaquinta. Well, he choked out Al Iaquinta, and then after that, he hasn't fought in the UFC. So this is the first time we're going to see if he really has what it takes to compete in the lightweight division, which is really stacked.
You have any other connection to Chiesa in any way, Chris?
Oh, yeah, and I also prank called the shit out of his house, and his mom was really pissed, so I hope he wins.
Oh, my God. Ramses, what's the word?
I just want to say, Mrs. Chiesa, I had nothing to do with that shit. I did not condone it or encourage it.
Ramses of Austin, Texas was implicated in this situation.
Honestly, half the time I was passed out, half listening. It was slipping into my dreams. I was just picturing this poor woman. Anyway, look, the fight that matters this weekend, we all know what it is, people. My Thug Jitsu master himself, the man who gave me a black belt.
He's going to die.
Yves Edwards is going to fight Darren Cruikshank, another hero of mine. I'm torn, but I got to be real. And I'll be as real as possible.
How dare you?
I will read a quote from President Harry Truman. He said this, right before we dropped the bomb on Hiroshima, and the nuclear bomb on Hiroshima. He said, "We are now prepared to obliterate more rapidly and completely every productive enterprise the Japanese have above ground in any city. We shall destroy their docks, their factories, and their communications. Let there be no mistake, we shall completely destroy Japan's power to make war."
Blasted.
And that is what the Thug Jitsu Master does. He is the art of war. Sorry, Darren, I love you to death. I'm going to still love you after this fight. It brings a single tear to my eye. I'm actually crying right now. It brings a tear to my eye to see this fight happen, but I got to go with my Thug Jitsu Master. Always bet on black. Who's next?
No surprise, the fight that really sticks out to me is Melvin, the young assassin, Gillard, making his return against Mac Danzig, who's a bum. He's a bum status. Melvin is going to run right through this guy. He's going to finish him impressively and move one step closer to earning a UFC title shot.
Yeah. No. There's a reason I didn't bet on the Gillard-Danzig fight, and that is because this can go either one of two ways. Melvin Gillard will either knock his head into the seventh row, or Mac Danzig will put him to sleep. So the fight that sticks out to me has to be the Edwards-Cruikshank fight. I mean, the world is going to explode. You can't stop it. This fight's going to go to a draw. I told you, 6,500. You can make so much money. But, hey, the prelims, I got to say, that's the best part of the night. The FX prelims, best part of the night. Better than the main card because you get to see Kedzie, you get to see Herman, you get to see Cruikshank Edwards, you get to see Melvin Gillard, you get to see Michael Chiesa. Sorry, Chiesa family. It's just stacked. You got to watch it. FX at, I don't even know what time. Watch it.
Watch that shit, cocksuckers. And, yeah, I thought I was going to play a drop or something afterwards, but I'm really happy. Oh, no, I was going to say the last hour I've had Duck Dynasty on my television on mute, and I legitimately feel dumber for having looked over and seen different parts of them doing random redneck shit, and that's all I'm going to say about Duck Dynasty and the prelims. The top three fights, we'll start off with a couple of welterweight bouts. We'll start off with Lawler and Volker. Ross touched on it briefly before. I think we all are leaning the same direction in this fight, and that is going with Robbie Lawler. Both a couple of Strikeforce guys who have one fight in their UFC career. And the thing I don't get, I feel like Lawler faced a more impressive opponent. Lawler fought Koscheck. Volker fought Patrick Cote. Volker lost to Cote, and Lawler beat Koscheck, but somehow he's getting Volker next. I mean, Lawler, I think Lawler was originally supposed to face Tarek Safadine, and I don't understand this. Joe Silva has all these opportunities to make fights between new Strikeforce guys and guys in the UFC, and he just keeps matching up guys in Strikeforce against guys from Strikeforce. It was going to be Lawler-Safadine, and now Safadine injured, replaced by CR, Bahadurzada. Then on July 11th, CR pulled out of the fight and was replaced by Bobby Volker. So Bobby is taking this on 2 weeks' notice. I got Robbie Lawler all day in this one, easily. Koscheck's a much better fighter, and Lawler knocked Koscheck out in the first round. I think this one's pretty easy. Ramses, what's the word?
Yeah, Joe Silva putting these Strikeforce fighters against each other, that's just simple. That's Sun Tzu 101, man. Art of war, divide and conquer. Divide and conquer, people, you understand me? But Robbie Lawler versus Bobby Volker, let me tell you the truth, people. You could stand both of these gentlemen, no insult to them. You could stand them both in front of me. I would not be able to tell you who was who. I have no idea who these people fucking are. This sounds like a Facebook fight to me. So I have no comment. I will just pass it to Yao the Truth.
Yeah, thanks for your integrity, Ramses. Always appreciated.
Yeah.
I think Robbie Lawler will beat. What is his name?
Volkman.
Volkman, yeah. I think Robbie Lawler will beat Volkman impressively. I think he's gonna knock him out.
Voltron.
Seems like he's very Voltron. Okay, seriously, what is his name?
Dick.
It's Bobby Volkman.
Bobby Volker.
Bobby.
Roger
Volker.
Bowling.
Roger Bowling. It's
actually
Staring.
It's actually Rob Volkman.
Bob Burnquist.
All right, Robbie Lawler is gonna beat this guy. I don't know who he's fighting, but he's gonna beat this guy, and he's gonna beat him impressively. I just feel like Robbie Lawler has a fire lit under him, especially after finishing Koscheck the way he did. I think he's he has this crazy confidence about him.
Hot.
and I think he's going to finish this guy impressively.
Yeah, he's so hot. Ross?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Yao. This is just horrible matchmaking. I mean, they really had no choice. No one wanted to fight Robbie Lawler. Tarek Safadine didn't want to fight Robbie Lawler. CR Bahadurzada didn't want to fight Robbie Lawler. So they brought in Bobby Volker. Bobby Volker is going to get knocked out by Robbie Lawler. Robbie Lawler has fought in the UFC somewhere between like 8 and 10 times. He's got brutal knockout power. He can kill a man with his hands. Bobby Volker doesn't have shit. I mean, he's got some power, but Roger Bowling is not a big win. So Robbie Lawler takes this knockout, probably the first round, if not the first, the second. It ends way before the third.
Ross, that's so hot. Way before the third. Hell yeah, man. We got Robbie Lawler, Bobby Volker. These guys are essentially like a mirror match on a fighting game. You know, we've all grown up with that. You fight the same guy. Basically, Robbie Lawler is Bobby Volker, but Volker actually sucks a little bit more. Like, he's not as good with his hands. He doesn't have as good wrestling. He can't take as good of a shot that Robbie can. So pretty much everything he does, Lawler does better. I got Lawler in this fight.
Robbie Lawler, that's a clean sweep. We are gonna talk about Rory and Jake. I don't think that's gonna be a clean sweep. Mighty Mouse versus John probably won't be a clean sweep either. But before we get to it, it's time for probably everyone's favorite segment of the MMA podcast. You know what time it is, people. Time for Ramsey's Fight Tips, where our boy Ramses brings you a new and improved fight tip. I won't even talk any longer. Ramses, what's your fight tip this week?
Yeah, people. Yeah, kind of on the spot here, but look, this is going to be an advanced fight tip. Advanced as in this is from the future. This technique won't even work until at least 100 years from now. I call it the Commander Riker Striker. And yes, it is from Star Trek The Next Generation. If you remember Commander Will Riker, he would always get in fights with aliens. It was like 100 years in the future, though. That's when hand-to-hand combat was like something like unheard of. It's like the equivalent of people expecting to joust right now, these days. So, whenever you see Commander Riker from Star Trek The Next Generation fight an alien hand-to-hand, he uses a technique called the Commander Riker Striker. What he does is a double-fisted punch, basically. It's a double-fisted uppercut. What you do is you just picture yourself, do it right now at home. Clasp both of your hands together. Almost like you were going to pray, but not prayer, you know, two fists together. Clasp them both together, and then just try to, you know, just fucking uppercut. Just uppercut somebody with both fists at the same time. You've seen it. It's a slight variation on what Captain Kirk used to do. It's a double-fisted uppercut strike. Yes, it sounds ridiculous. You're asking yourself, how could I possibly get enough momentum or leverage to striking? This is stupid. Trust me, 100 years from now, people won't even know the basics of hand-to-hand combat. This will be the equivalent of a spinning back kick is what I'm trying to say to you people. None of us will probably be alive except for the Jew. He's probably going to get rich and get that life extension technology. But if you are alive, you got to use the Commander Riker Striker, people. Notably, I just want to also mention, this was the same move that Superman used in the comic book Superman 75, otherwise known as The Death of Superman, where he fought Doomsday, and they both killed each other at the same time with a simultaneous strike. And Superman killed Doomsday with the Commander Riker Striker. That's the word on the street. I'll have more for you next time. Until then, see you at the dojo.
See you at the dojo, cocksuckers. And that was Ramsey's fight tip of the week. And if you really are smart, you would be saving all of these fight tips up. You would save them all and listen to them every single day. Memorize them to memory. I couldn't think of a better word for memory there. Sorry, that was a little redundant. But memorize these shits, and you might one day be a UFC champion. let's move on. Hohe McDonald facing Jake Ellenberger. This is going to be a fucking hell of a fight. Also, Chris had to dip out, but follow him on Twitter at C. Lowenstein.
I'm here, man.
Oh,
I'm
shit,
here,
he's
dude.
back. Oh, god damn it. Chris, you staying on for the podcast?
Yes.
For the rest of it? Fuck yeah.
Yes.
All right. We got Rory McDonald and Jake Ellenberger. The Canadian versus the American. The winner is going to be in a prime spot as far as getting a title shot. A lot of people are saying McDonald's the next greatest thing. I think Ellenberger deserves a shot at the title. He's probably after Big Rig gets his shot, he's going to be the best welterweight who hasn't gotten a title fight yet. I'm going to mention it just because Chris is on the line. He didn't really lose to Martin Kamen. And yeah, I have Jake Ellenberger on this shit all day. Yao, who you got?
Yeah, I gotta go with Rory McDonald. As much as I'd like to see him lose, just because, I just like to see him lose, I do think that he will beat Jake Ellenberger. I think he said on the UFC Road to the Octagon show, he said he's going to technically embarrass Jake Ellenberger, and I think he can. I like Rory McDonald a lot. He's one of my favorite fighters, and I think he will technically embarrass Jake Ellenberger. If Jake has to, calm down, which he has been doing lately, but then every once in a while he'll just explode on somebody, and if he does that, I think Rory can just pick him apart from the outside, and then Jake, all night long he can do that to Jake. But at the same time, BJ Penn was able to catch Rory with some shots that seemed like it kind of stunned him a little bit. And I know Jake Ellenberger has way more power than BJ Penn. So it's going to make for an interesting fight. But I do want Rory McDonald to win, and I do think he will.
First off, I want to preface this by saying Rory McDonald is a fantastic fighter. He is technically sound. He has all aspects of the game. However, he is extremely overrated. The guy, first of all, since losing to Carlos Condit, the guy has only fought 4 times, and that happened in 2010. So that he's very injury prone. Second of all, if you look at his record, 2 of the guys he has beaten, in Nate Diaz and BJ Penn, are lightweights. BJ Penn is a lightweight. He is not a middleweight, a welterweight. He's probably walking around at heavyweight right now, but he is not a welterweight. Jake Ellenberger has unbelievable power. Next to Johnny Hendricks, or maybe even tied. I'd actually say that Johnny Hendricks and Jake Ellenberger are the 2 most powerful punchers in the welterweight division, and 2 of the most powerful punchers in MMA. Jake Ellenberger does not lose often, and when he loses, it's not extreme. The Martin Kampmann loss, I do think that fight was stopped early. He landed a knee, he went down. All right, big whoop, but it wouldn't happen again. And then if you look at who he beat before that, I mean, he was beating the shit out of Diego Sanchez and Jake Shields. And that, oh my God, that
Mike
knockout.
Pyle, John Howard.
Yeah, that knockout against Sean Pearson. Oh, that was beautiful. And the Condit fight was close. This is a guy who...
And even his last loss before that was a close split decision loss to Condit. And before that, his last loss was in 2008.
Yeah, the guy is unbelievable, and what he did to Nate Marquardt was sick. He is one of those guys that has just been floating around. He's been at the top for a while, but he's never gotten that title shot. He is finally going to get that title shot. This is a bad matchup, in my opinion, for Rory McDonald. Rory McDonald can get clipped. He took shots in the Condit fight. He took shots in the BJ Penn fight. He's going to take shots in this fight. The only difference is when he takes shots, he's going to go down. Jake Ellenberger will knock Rory McDonald out, and you can get that plus 325 if I remember correctly, and you can make a whole lot of money.
So, Ross, you remember that conversation we were having about Rory McDonald where I said he's kind of obtain this like bully mentality or personality that he has now, because he basically beats up either bloated up lightweights or nobodies in the welterweight, division. The guy goes out there, he fights people, he gets injured a lot, but he's never actually faced a top level guy except for Carlos Condit, like you brought up, and he lost that fight. So he kind of adopted this persona of being the asshole. If you look at him like in interviews, he's wearing some stupid ass clothes. He looks dumb. He gives one word answers. Yep. Nope. Like the guy kind of took on this really jerk persona. He's never faced anybody. I think that Jake Ellenberger has faced tons of top talent, and that guy will definitely finish Rory McDonald. Rory McDonald fucking rocks, man. That guy is really good, but the problem is he's never actually faced anyone. So I got Jake.
Chris is making a damn good point.
Sorry that shit was playing over you. I just wanted to play this clip really quickly in Jake's honor.
You can't harm me. Are you a fucking ass? Do you not know who I am? He must not know who I am. I'm the juggernaut, bitch. I'm gonna hit you with your own pimp.
That's right.
That's good.
Not taking this
pimp. He's gonna hit him with his own.
I'm the juggernaut, bitch.
I'm the juggernaut, bitch. Have you ever seen this, Ramses?
No, but at the end he said, "I'm gonna hit you with your own what?
Your own pimp."
What the fuck does that mean?
You obviously haven't seen the video. I'll show it to you.
No, I haven't, man.
The podcast.
All right, sorry. Yeah,
he picks
what
up the guy that the guy's with, and he hits him with the other guy because he's the juggernaut, bitch.
Damn, hits him with his own pimp. Oh yeah, Chris was on to something though. I'll be damned if my stoned mind can remember what he was on to. What is the topic at hand, gentlemen? And I apologize. Jake
Ellenberger and Hoagie McDonald.
Oh, no wonder I don't give a fuck. Yeah, Roy McDonald, dude. This fucking guy, like Chris was saying, dude, his shtick, man. His little one-word answers, his vague, like, I'm too cool for the room shit. I don't give a damn attitude. Like, at first I was like, all right, cool, I dig it. It got old probably the second time he busted that out. After that, everybody was, I'm done with it, man. In fact, I think he might, like, now I'm thinking it's not even a shtick, his little attitude or whatever. I think he might I'm not even trying to be offensive here. I think he might actually be retarded. We brought up the fight with the guy with the Down syndrome and the cerebral palsy. Like, honestly, like, Rory McDonald, he just might be a really stupid kid. Like, all the evidence suggests that he's having other people dress him. I'm about to just get myself in trouble, so I'll pass it along. Sorry. Word on the street. Rory McDonald, probably mentally disabled.
Roy McDonald is probably retarded. You heard it here first. We got one more fight. It's the championship fight. And I do have a stat of the day for the championship fight. Let's do it.
Stat of the day! Stat of the day! Stat of the day! Stat of the day! Here comes the stat of the day!
Challenger John Moraga wins. It will be due to his striking, but Mighty Mouse is coming off the best striking performance in his career. Against Dodson, he landed 127 significant strikes, the third most ever in a UFC title fight. The 73 strikes he landed in the clinch during that bout is a UFC record.
Stat of the day! Stat of the day! Stat of the day! Stat of the day! Here comes the stat of the day!
I like how this giant-ass clock was going on behind me while I was talking, but I muscled through it, cocksuckers. And we got Demetrius Johnson and John Moraga. I'm going with Johnson in this. Moraga does have the ability to maybe knock out Johnson, but Johnson just moves too well. And like I just said, the dude's coming off the best striking performance of his career. I want to be a man, like Ross said before. I want to step up and pick Moraga, but in all actuality, I don't, because I don't think he's going to win. I got Johnson via unanimous decision all day. Ross?
Well, we already know what I'm picking, but first, I'll just break it down. Demetrius Johnson's a great fighter. He always finds a way to win. However, he did not beat Ian McCall the first time. That was a bunch of bullshit. It shouldn't even have been it shouldn't even have gone to a fourth round. Ian McCall won that fight. That was such utter shit. Ian McCall cut like 70 pounds to make weight in the second fight, so that's why he looked like shit in that one. beat the shit out of Benavidez, no question there, and he really turned it on in those later rounds against John Dodson. But the reason he beat John Dodson was because he kneed him in the balls multiple times, and that fucked him up. He's not going to get to do that in this fight. If you saw Road to the Octagon, you will know that John Moraga is no punk-ass bitch. He grew up in the ghetto. He fights anytime, anywhere. He's been fighting his entire life. He fought when he got out of the womb. Like I said, no punk-ass bitch.
Did he fight his mom or the doctor?
Both. He fought everyone. He fought the entire hospital. This kid has unbelievable striking, unbelievable grappling. He's got great wrestling. He's just completely well-rounded. He is a guy who has completely flown under the radar forever. Now you know who he is, and if you don't, you will on Saturday night. John Moraga will be your new UFC flyweight champion. He will knock out Demetrius Johnson.
And let's not forget, people, that Demetrius Johnson is a dirty fighter. If you go back to the first Ian McCall fight, Ian McCall got kicked to the balls, and he sat there and he grabbed his balls, and he looked at Demetrius and put his hands up like, oh, it's cool, dude. And Demetrius went to put his hands up, and right before it touched, he lit him up with a 3-punch combo. The guy's a dirty fighter. He need John Dodson a couple times in the nuts. I don't like the guy at all, and I think that John Moraga has a more impressive wrestling pedigree. I think he can stave off the takedowns, and I think he's a finisher. I got John Moraga finishing Demetrius Johnson before the 5 rounds are up.
I'll keep it damn short. I don't give a fuck about this fight. Mighty Mouse versus Moraga. I'm a Mighty Mouse fan even, but I don't give a fuck about this fight, man. I have no reason to. This division is so thin. It's just bullshit to me, man. This is just a filler fucking card to me. Filler. Except for, of course, the Thug Jitsu Master versus Crookshank. That is pay-per-view level shit, dude. That is world-ending. That's a title fight where there's no belt at stake. Do you understand me, people? That is the fight, man. That should be moved up. I don't know what the fuck's going on here. But yeah, Johnson versus Moraga, dude. Honestly, I was driving by. I saw a fire explosion. Like something was definitely burning in the region. Like I was like, man, that might be my place. That might be where I live. I drove by. You know, I didn't even give a fuck to check out that. Why the fuck am I gonna give a damn about this fight? That's all I'm saying. Word on the street.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this fight. I'm a huge Mighty Mouse fan. I mean, he's someone I'd look up to in a lot of different ways, you know, especially with his fighting and technique. And he's such a smart fighter, you know, and his timing is like second to none. His placement, where he is when he throws his punches, his kicks, the way he sets up his takedowns. He's an amazing fighter. He's going to have that belt for a very long time, and he's going to defend it this Saturday.
Yeah, and I think most people in Vegas agree with you. Johnson is a pretty big favorite in Vegas. But I think unless anybody's got anything new, I think that's our last topic of the day. First and foremost, I'd like to say it every time, thank you so much for tuning in. You guys keep us going. Follow us on Twitter, the MMA Podcast. Ramses, what is the goddamn word on the street, son?
2 situations happening for anybody out there listening. You're either getting pussy from the same girl that you've been getting pussy from, or you're not getting pussy. Either way, you want to follow me on the Aunt Jimmy Show. The Aunt Jimmy Show on Twitter. Your girlfriend will get wet. If she, you know you're having those problems, whatever, just follow me. That's the solution to everything. You got diabetes. You got concentration problems, something ADHD. I don't.
If you're in a concentration camp.
Yep. In fact, if you even have Down syndrome or cerebral palsy, just follow the AJB Show on Twitter. You will be cured and healed before God. Word on the street.
Yeah, the truth. What's the truth?
The truth is, you can find me on Twitter at Yao_the truth. YAO_the truth. I'm training. I'm fighting. Look out.
Yo, a train. Yo, a fight. Yo, respect me. Yo, respect the fans. Yo, no more train talk. No more train talk. Ross, we find you on Twitters? Your friend take my belt and make me very sad.
He's going to knock you out in December. Ladies and gentlemen, you can catch me on Twitter at Ross Finkelstein, E before the L, all Jewishly. You want to make some money, you want to get laid, follow Ramses. You just, everything. I don't even know what to say. Follow all these guys. Fuck it.
And follow Ross Finkelstein, E before the L, cocksuckage. Chris?
At C. Lowenstein, CLOWENSTEIN. I'll see you there.
See you there, and we'll see you on Twitter at the MMA Podcast. Follow us, and we will tweet out. We always tweet out when the times are going to be of the podcast that afternoon. We have been doing Wednesday night shows. I expect we're going to be doing a Wednesday night show. Next week's show actually should be coming from Denver, Colorado. I've been talking about the move for a month or two now, and I should be in Denver for Wednesday night show. So definitely looking forward to that. Looking forward to talking, breaking down UFC on Fox 8. I believe there's also another card a week after UFC on Fox 8. Yeah, that's UFC 163, Aldo vs. Korean Zombie in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Looking forward to that. Like I said, we got 17 UFC cards in the last 5 months of this year. I'm really looking forward to it. And, looking forward to another year of this podcast, episode 53. Can't wait for the next 53. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow on The Word on the Street. We'll see you next week on the MMA Podcast. Until then, we